You're listening to the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye on One. All right, property report time. Dubai is, and I quote, powering on with a 2% rise in house prices last month. That is what the latest analysis from Property Monitor says. It's going to be out a little bit later today, but we've got a sneak peek, and the COO, Jean Jahinki, in the studio with us this morning. Jean, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So, a 2% rise in house prices. Put that in context for us. Where are we now historically?
So if we look at the last recovery cycle, right? So that one that ended sort of the October 2014, that one we went up, that big ramp up, and then we went through this 6-year downturn. That recovery cycle only lasted 24 months. We have
you say.
Only. Well, you look at that 8-year cycle, right? You'd like your upswing to be a little bit longer than just 2 years of it. We're at that same point now, right? So we're 24 months into the recovery. We bottomed out in November 2020. And now 24 months in. And what we were seeing in the beginning is rapid price appreciation. So we sort of went from the 0.5%, 1%, 2%, 2.5%. And then we saw it start to taper off, which got me really happy because the slower prices go up, the longer the run we're going to have, the more sustainable it's likely to be. Affordability doesn't become as much of a problem. So we saw it taper off. We saw these sub 1% plus or minus month-on-month ones. And then we saw a couple of declines. And then 2 months ago, we saw a 2% bump. And now we've seen another almost 2% bump, 1.77%.
You're calling this a multi-phase cycle, though. What does that mean in practice?
Yeah, so the first phase is the one I just went through, right? And that was driven by villas and townhouses. And apartments were selling as well, but the major price appreciation, villa and townhouses. If we look deeper into what's driving it now, these last couple of months have been heavily weighted toward apartment price growth. So normally if I was sitting here going, it's villa and townhouses again, I'd be really concerned that now it's just running away again. But the fact that it's this second phase being driven by a different property type doesn't give me that much cause for concern.
How sustainable are the rises, though, that we have already seen in villas and townhouses and are now seeing in apartments?
So I think villa and townhouses are starting to plateau for sure, almost across the board. Apartments, there's still some value that's left in there. So expect that to happen for probably the next 6 to 9 months, but it will depend on how much supply comes into the market. And that's one of the next parts that we're really starting to see. There is a lot of new supply launching. That's going to come in, and some people that maybe haven't been able to afford or chase something that's ready are now opting for Offplan that's coming into the market.
And this was a big discussion yesterday that we had on the show with the guys from Hauser and from Value Strat as well. Your report, though, you're cautious on the amount of Offplan launches.
Yeah.
I'm putting that nicely.
You are. What is the end of every bull market? It's oversupply. Every market, that's where it gets to the point there is just too much inventory. And we're starting to ramp up. So this year we've seen about 38,000 new units come to market in the off-plan segment. About 80% of that's been apartments, right? Where the most demand's been has been villa and townhouses, and we've not really been seeing that. You had the spot before where Tom was talking with Azizi. Really happy to see that they're diversifying and moving away from a lot of new apartment launches and now bringing some villa and townhouses in. It's really tough for developers to do that because what do you need? Land to do these communities. So there's only a few developers that can bring that to the market. So how long will it be sustainable? We really have to keep an eagle eye on what's coming in and when, but not just now, but thinking when that hands over, what's the market going to be like? Do I want to be in a position where I've bought an apartment today at top dollar and then 3 years from now it's coming on with 30,000 other things in the same quarter? That's a position you might not want to be in.
I mean, crystal ball time, and you've actually said, and this is going to be an unfair question, you've said at the end of your report that you are about to start formulating your predictions for the year ahead. Why not start now, Jean?
Oh, she's going to leave me something for the new year. I'll give you some. I think that we're going to see developers continue with the pace of we've seen now. We'll probably end the year with about 50,000 units coming to market, and I don't think it's going to slow down coming into the new year. I just hope they pay close attention to what product they're releasing, where and when. Price appreciation, ticking on how it is now. Apartments and villas sort of staying in that plateau. Ready apartments being the most value right now to buy something. Rental rates, going to keep ticking up, right? It's those that can't afford to buy are forced into the rental market, so that increases demand while supply is really tight. Ultimately, it's going to push up prices on new properties.
Yeah, let's talk about that rental market. Sarah from Hauser made the point yesterday that, we are in danger of ending up with a glut of people who've all been served their 1-year eviction notices. At around the same time, meaning that they're all looking obviously for new flats, new villas, whatever it happens to be, at around the same time. What are we seeing rental yields doing at the moment, and where do you think they're going?
So right now they're holding flat or holding firm at around 6.5%. That's across all property types, and relatively stable amongst all of them in there as well. This is putting us back to pre-pandemic levels, which is nice because we had that drop off. I think you are going to see them increase slightly more, but forget the days of 7, 8, 9%. They're done Emirate-wise. You might find those values in International 70, Discovery Gardens, but they're going to be limited. I think you'll see them climb up a little bit more, but ultimately start to plateau, and you've got a lot of this inventory coming on. All those people are getting eviction notices now. First thing my advice would be is question the validity of it, what the purpose is for, and make sure that it's followed through with. There's going to be a whole lot of people coming to the market then. We don't know where the market's going to be. Some of those would-be sellers might actually go, you know what, stay on, because there's not a buyer demand that's there. That's where I think we've really got to start to monitor as well.
Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Very pleased to be speaking to Jan Jahinke, COO of Property Monitor, who's come in with their latest report. That's going to be released a little bit later today, but we've had a sneak preview this morning. House prices are rising 2% in the last month here in Dubai.